All right, all right. Welcome to the GMB show. We are going to be, for the next 20 minutes, plus or minus, talking about some pretty important stuff in training, talking a little bit about wants and needs and the difference and why it's important to figure out your own particular wants and needs. And yeah, by foregoing any introduction, I guess I just kind of, went into it there.
That's
Ryan,
good, man.
how you
That's
doing?
good. It's been a while since we've done a show, so this is really good. A lot of stuff has been happening. Of course, we've got the new site up and running. The forums are up and running, so very exciting stuff. And that's kind of one of the reasons why we took a break. Also, we were gone. I was in Europe teaching, and been
And in
really
fact,
busy.
I am currently in the icy tundra of Atlanta, Georgia,
Exactly.
in the basement of my parents' home. So if the decor is visually disorienting, just chalk it up to my adolescence, literally behind me right now.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, man, so we're going to be talking a little bit about wants and needs today. And, we get questions, a lot of questions. We get questions all the time, and people constantly saying, where do we start with GMB?
Yeah.
What should I do, kind of thing. And
if we say, what do you want out of it? And they invariably say, well, I'd like to get stronger and be able to move better.
yeah.
Which is a universal thing and great, but it's extremely vague.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that happens is that people don't really know what they want. And you know what? That's an okay thing. That really is okay.
Yeah.
In the beginning. There's not, you don't need to know exactly your 5-year plan and have it set out so that you just follow it.
Because it's not your job to be an expert on your own physical health when you're just starting out.
Very good.
I mean, honestly, we should all strive to be experts on our own health, but it's not your job to be a fitness expert when you're just starting to work out or something, or if you're just changing to a different type of training. So yeah, definitely don't beat yourself up if you don't know what you want. It's completely valid.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Just like in university, you spend the first 3 years figuring out what you want to do.
Or 5 for some of us.
Yeah. So the thing is there's a lot of stuff on the internet and a lot of people telling you what you should be doing. You should be doing this particular exercise, and we should all have a certain standard that we should be doing. And well, I think that's a good thing in some points. I think that when you come to GMB, the biggest thing is really what looks attractive to you. What do you want to start with? Like, for example, maybe you think rings are cool. Okay, great. Let's just start on the rings. Start with rings 1 and see where we go with that. And that's the biggest point really in the very beginning regarding wants is what looks attractive to you. What is something that you feel like, oh, that would be cool. I'd like to try that. And then starting. Starting is the most important thing. Just don't mess around. Get going with it and just start the program. Extremely important. Now,
you can sit in the car and turn the wheel back and forth all day, but it's not going to turn, right? Unless you are in motion, right? So it's the same thing with this. You can make adjustments later, but you have to start somewhere. And if the only thing you have to go on when starting is this looks cool, or I'd like to be able to do this someday, then that's great.
Yep. And just get started. Now, what's going to happen though is you're going to do this program. You're going to start this program, and things are going to pop up, and you're going to realize, oh, I need more work on this. The needs start popping up. And so in this case, maybe let's say you're starting rings, and you thought that you could do a particular movement, and you try it out, and you realize, wow, I can't really do it at all.
Yeah.
And so that's where you can really start focusing on your needs. And so you spending a little extra time working on that particular movement or skill, whatever it may be. And the other things that you do well, you can not put aside, but just kind of move over a little bit and not focus as much on them because you can already do them. So then you focus more on your needs there. You're still doing what you want to do overall, but then you can focus on your needs specifically to help you get better. So thing is though, is when you find that thing that you need more work on, it doesn't mean that you need to make your entire life revolve around that one thing. Let's say, I'm going to give you a different example. Let's say you try to do the splits, and you want to get the split so bad, and you realize that that's maybe something that you need to do. Okay, but that doesn't mean that all day long the only thing that you should be doing is the splits. Think about the other stuff that you want to do and just fit that into your lifestyle. That's really important. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because we can get so focused on thinking that this is something that we truly need that we lose focus of the big picture. And that is, there's other stuff that's out there that maybe is a part of the program that is also important.
Yeah.
And you also need to be thinking about that. So that's kind of where I have a problem with other people telling us that we need to be doing a particular thing, is because you think that that's the only thing you should be doing. And the things that you want to be doing sometimes get left to the side. What beer are you drinking, by the way, today?
This is Bass Pale Ale.
There you
Used
go.
to be my go-to,
That's a good one.
but I haven't been having too much of it lately. So, as you can see, I'm in full-on nostalgia mode today.
Yeah, I love it, man. So that's what you need right now, is basically what you're saying.
Right. That's what I need right now. But it's actually a really good point that you bring up, is that, you know, well, one, that a lot of times your true needs arise through practice. You really can't tell what you need unless you're striving for something.
Yes.
Right? If you're static, you don't know what you need to get someplace because you're not going someplace. But once you're in motion, the needs pop up. Again, with the car analogy, which I don't know why I'm bringing these up. I don't even drive anymore. But, you know, like if the car is sitting still, you can't tell what's wrong with the car, right? But as soon as you go, you can tell if, like, the tires are off balance or something. And, you know, a lot of things, too, like, you know, we talk a lot about most people probably need more hip mobility and shoulder control and flexibility as well. But these are things that you can't really just tell by walking around, because we're all very well adapted for sitting and standing and walking, right? But then when you say go on the rings or try to do a handstand, you discover that, oh, I really need now more shoulder mobility to do this handstand. But then also, the next thing that you brought up that was really important is not organizing your whole life around that. Just because you want to do a handstand does not mean you need 43 esoteric shoulder protocols. You can hear all day long and think that the shoulder craves complexity. Well, you know what the shoulder really craves? The muscle part of the shoulder craves, you know, blood and iron, oxygen. The bone part of the shoulder craves calcium and magnesium. That's what the shoulder really craves, okay? But all of this stuff aside, the shoulder, yes, to do a handstand, needs to have a certain amount of mobility and strength. But if you organize your life around your shoulder mobility, all the other things you're training for are going to suffer. And so you need to know that this is now, it is a need, but is the handstand your most important goal? I mean, if it is, yes, great. Then that shoulder thing should be high on your priority list. But you can tend to lose the forest for the trees because there are a lot of damn trees in the body. I mean, not literally, of course. But when you start trying to do complex movements, when you start trying to do athletic movements and things that require a lot of balance and skill and strength, you find that there are many things you need. And you can't attack all of them full force.
There you go. Let me give you a personal example. Right now I'm working on the hollow back press to a handstand. So for those of you who don't know what a hollow back press is, basically think of being in the bottom portion of a push-up, but your feet are floating off of the ground. So your feet are not touching, and so your body is floating, and from there you pull your legs up over you and press up into a handstand and then lower back down. So hollow back press. Now, this is something that I've really wanted to get over the years, and right now in my life this is a good time for me to be working on it. And so for the past month or so I've been working on it, and interestingly enough I found that I have the strength to be able to do this. And in the beginning I thought that was going to be the need for me to do this movement. What I found once I started practicing it is that my wrist My right wrist is restricting me. So what my need right now is to actually work on my wrist. But interestingly enough, I found something else that was holding me back was that I was doing too much other stuff. So instead of trying to put something on top of and just add something in, wrist mobility, wrist strength, in order to focus on my need to get this hollow back press, I actually need to back off a bit in order to let other things subside so that I can focus more on the hollow back press. So that's another example where sometimes rather than just adding something in, you subtract in order to get more focused on a thing. But again, my life is not just focused on that. Like, you know, there's other stuff that I'm doing. But in order to make sure that I can do this without injuring myself, back off a bit and focus a little bit more on the wrist mobility. And just a little bit more is good enough. And so this is another thing too, is sometimes your needs, good is good enough. It doesn't have, like, you know, like you said, you don't have to have tons and tons of protocols. Just focus on really the main thing, the one thing that's really going to help you cover that need. And another example too is if you look at our vitamin course right now that we have going on, every single day there's a new movement that we introduce, right? So we have people
that any of them in 28 days.
Right. Every single day is a new movement.
Yeah.
And so you go into this every single day not knowing what the movement's going to be.
Yeah.
And you wake up and here's your email and this is the movement that you're going to work on. Now, a lot of people are going into this and saying, oh my gosh, this looks really cool. I really want to be able to do this. They try it once or twice and are like, I can't do it. Okay, well, this is really cool actually, because this is rather, I like to look at it this way for the vitamin. Instead of us showing you cool tricks, I think of it as a way of showing your body or teaching you where you need more work and something that you can come back to and work on later. So let's say
that's the thing about the participants too, is that you know, in a lot of things we have people where they say they try things and they say they can't do it. Actually, in the vitamin course, what usually happens is people catch on really quickly. They'll try a thing and they'll realize that, okay, this is something I need to work more on.
Yes.
Or this is something to add to the list that, you know, I'd like to be able to do more on. Or I notice that, yeah, I'm restricted here on this and I bet I'll notice it again on other things, you know. And they start to, over the few days, over even the first few days of the course, start to get a clearer picture of what they even need, not for any one particular goal, but just for those general goals of, you know, get stronger, move better, you know.
And this goes back to what we were saying in the very beginning, is sometimes the majority of the time you really don't know what your needs are. And so you need something in order to work as a catalyst to help you start moving and getting things going so that then you can start finding out what you need.
An exploratory diagnostic.
Yes, exactly. So basically the better that you know your body, well, the more you're going to figure out your needs, which can be a little discouraging in the sense, like if you start to do things and you realize there's a ton of stuff that you need work on. But I think that's kind of cool. And as long as you can kind of put the ego aside and say, hey, listen, you know, I do have needs. You can start working on those needs. I had to throw that in there somewhere. Yeah, to me, this is really exciting because this is how I train all the time. I'm constantly looking at what I can do in order to simplify and focus on the things that are going to help me kind of cover everything that I want to do. And so that diagnostic, having a tool to let you know kind of where you are that day and see how things are going. So again, going back to the needs, the wants and the needs thing, you know, looking at that hollow back press, for me, it was just interesting because I wanted it so bad. I wanted the skill. But then I realized that I could already really do the skill. The only thing that was holding me back was at one point my wrist. And so, you know, by focusing on my wrist and trying to make it not just stronger, but work on my mobility, it's actually helped with pretty much everything else I've done, including, you know, my planche. Because at the time when I was doing my planche, you know, I was like, yeah, I got the planche, no problem. And didn't really realize how much my wrist was affecting, or I should say holding me back for bettering my planche. So is cool. That by using and trying out a new movement, it's been teaching me a lot about what I need for a lot of the other kind of stuff.
Like, I think new movements are actually a really good thing too. I mean, we talk about, you know, we get questions from people wondering where to start, and you know, starting also is a relative thing too. Also in the context of maybe just people changing from a different, you know, training modality. We actually have a lot of people who do CrossFit, for example, that, you know, want to start, you know, working more on skills and stuff and get in touch with us. And that's nothing against CrossFit. I think CrossFit does a lot of really great things. But depending on where you practice it, there might be some holes in what you've learned, or it might just open your horizons to doors that you didn't know were there, and you decide that you want to explore more handstand work or more ring work or something. We have a lot of people coming from different things that ask us, well, which moves should I work on first? Or which skills, I don't know which skills I want to learn. You know, I want to do the whole GMB thing. I love what you guys are doing. I want to be able to move like that, but I don't know which skills to start with. So not even starting like going from couch to whatever, but starting a new chapter in your training or adding a new focus to your training or something. It's still the same thing really applies, is that you have to try something and see, you know. And you know, one good thing at least is, you know, we've got like 250, 300 free videos on YouTube. You can go and, you know, try a few of them and see which ones feel fun and challenging, you know, and which ones you want to work on more. And from there, start seeing what you need, you know. But there's no universal answer, really, you know.
Great point, yeah.
You can't just know.
Right.
You know?
Oh, that's right. And by the way, big shout out to CrossFit Box, FSF. This is where I was in Europe teaching in Holland. What's up, everybody? Good people there. But yeah, it's if you don't know really what you want to be doing, again, you know, check out the videos we have. There's so many up there, and it's free. They're free. You just got to watch them and check them out. So I mean, that's a good way to kind of sample a little bit about what we're trying to do here in GMB. And then when you really figure out, oh yeah, I think I want to do P-bars, maybe, then hey, you know, you got P1 you can do. You know, but that goes for everything out there, really. Again, I can't say this enough. Just because someone tells you that you should, you know, that you need this, I mean, really step back and look if that's something that you want. Then you know, start doing something and find that need. What do you really need? That's very important. So figure it out. All right.
Yeah, and you know, this really just goes to the core of everything we do at GMB too, is that you really have to know your own values and your own reasons, and be doing things for yourself too. You know, I'm not going to go on a bent about it, but seriously, you know, you have to start, and then you have to find out what you need. You just have to try stuff until you find the things that you feel are the right combination of challenging and rewarding that you really want to go after. And that's where you dig into a program and start following protocols and doing a thing that works toward a goal, right? But anytime you're making a change, you've got to have a little bit of exploratory, experimental phase where you try different things out and see what you need. And as much as I would love to just say, well, you know what, we have all the answers and you should just ask us and we will tell you definitively, we're not that damn smart. And nobody is.
No, and we don't know you. That's another thing too, is again, we don't know your background, we don't know what's going on with you, you know, you're the one who needs to make the decision, because in the end, you're the one who has to go to bed with yourself. And, you know, we can't tell you what you should be thinking. So
I think we're one of the very few fitness companies on the planet that our #1 assumption about our clientele is that they are full-grown adults who are capable of being responsible for their own decisions. Yeah. I think most companies really make the opposite assumptions, you know. But you know, for us, you have to make these decisions. You're an adult. People say, "Can I do this?" Well, you are definitely welcome to do that. I'm not going to say no.
You have permission to do whatever you want.
I am not your angry father. Better looking, but...
All right, I think we're going to end it there. Good talk on wants and needs. Let us know. Hopefully, Andy and I are going to try and get on do some more shows. So let us know what you'd like for us to rant about, and we will. We're good at that. Just let us know. Anything else you want to add there, buddy?
No, definitely. It's good to finally have the schedule set where we can be talking regularly again.
Yes.
And so definitely let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about, and if you have any questions, and we will address them on a future show.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you next time. For more great info, join our posse at goldmedalbodies.com. And be sure to check us out on iTunes and YouTube.